Hey guys, Decano here, and today we have a bit of a different video. As you may or may not know, I am a freelance digital artist, which is pretty much a fancy way to say that I am professionally unemployed and live with my mother. I have been drawing for the last 6 years or so, and here are some of my works. By the way, all of them were made using a simple screenless graphic tablet. And lately, I really wanted to try a tablet that actually has a screen just to see how it feels. Is it better? Is it worse? Do I like it or not? And things like that. So I bought this guy, Huion Kamvas 16 2021. So this video is obviously not sponsored. I only have like 1,000 followers here on YouTube. I bought it myself, so I will only tell what I actually think about the tablet. So this is not really a review because I won't read, the basic information about the tablet, its specifications, and all of that. I will only express my opinion on the tablet after using it for about a month. So everything that I say is based purely on my personal experience, and I will only mention the things that I think are worth it. So if I didn't mention something, that means that it is probably alright and I just don't believe it is worth mentioning. I know that people mostly watch these kind of videos to learn what is bad, what are the problems. So I will start with the things that I didn't like about the tablet and that are actually led me to selling it. The biggest problem turned out to be the size of the tablet. It's only 16 inches, and yeah, it's just not enough. It's too small. For the last 4 years, I've been drawing using my screenless tablet and the 27-inch monitor, so this kind of downgrade to 16 inches didn't go so well. Everything feels very small, very crowded, and I have to zoom in a lot when I work, which I don't like because you gotta see the whole picture. That's like one of the basic principles of art. You don't want to zoom in too often, but I just have to because of the size. I thought that maybe with time I'll get used to it, but I didn't. My eyes would also get tired way more quickly than usual. Plus, my back and my neck would hurt like pretty bad. In general, you sit in a very kind of awkward and comfortable position, and you just can't really focus on what you're doing because you always think about that something is bothering you. So this was like a deal breaker for me, and I really, really didn't like the size. I mean, it's not awful. You can draw, you can use it like easily, especially if you are used to drawing on something smaller, but that's not my case. And I don't care about, mobility, about being able to move it. I always draw at my desk. So in the end, I decided to sell it and go for something bigger because I just couldn't deal with that. I also noticed that when the screen gets a little bit dusty or maybe like dirty because of the sweat or something else, whatever, the pen can make this really, really bad ear piercing kind of screeching sound. It's kind of like when you draw with the chalk on a board, like in school or something like that, and it makes that really awful sound. It's kind of the same, but just not as bad, not as loud. So you really gotta keep the screen clean. And I don't really know why, because for example, right now I have an XP Pen tablet, and there is no problem like that. No matter how dusty or dirty it gets, no weird sounds, nothing. So yeah, I don't really know what is the reason for that. Not a big problem, but the cables of the tablet are pretty short. So if your PC is not on a desk, or if you like to keep your table clean and go for that minimalistic look, you might have some problems connecting it. Especially considering that Huion uses some specific 3-in-1 cable, so you can't just buy a longer HDMI or a longer USB, so you kinda have to deal with that, I guess. The default stand that comes with the tablet is not bad, but not good either. So if you have an option to buy it without a stand, I would suggest you do so and just, order something else from Amazon or whatever. Because the default stand is very low. So even though it does lift up your tablet a little bit, you still have to kind of bend over it to look at the screen, and it's just not very good for your back. Also, the angles that are pre-built there, they are not very comfortable. I would definitely like to have a bigger range of angles. So in the beginning, I had to just put something under the stand because otherwise I would have to kind of bend over and just not very comfortable. But in the end, I just decided to buy a different stand that is actually for a laptop, but it fit perfectly. It made a huge difference, but it still wasn't very comfortable just because of the size of the tablet, I guess. So it's more of my personal problem, not the tablet problem. Something that is not very important, I think, but I still should mention it. It is the reflectiveness of the screen. It is very, very reflective, almost kind of like a mirror. Even though they always say that we have an anti-glare screen or anti-glare film, mostly they are still pretty reflective. It's not really the problem of this tablet, it's more of a budget tablets problem, I think, because I have only seen like real anti-glare screens being in pro versions of tablets like XP Pen or Huion, whatever. So when it comes to problems, that is pretty much it. The only real problem for me was the size, but that's more of my personal preference rather than a tablet problem, I guess. So now we will move to the things that I actually liked about this tablet. So since this is a drawing tablet, the colors are very, very important, and I have to say that they are pretty good. Obviously, out of the box, they are like messed up, but you can pretty easily fix that in the driver settings of the tablet and of your graphic card. You will probably also need to mess around with the contrasts a little bit because out of the box the black color is a little bit brighter than it should be, I think, but it's not a huge difference from my main monitor. It's not a huge problem. Again, very much fixable, and overall the tablet is capable of showing nice colors and nice color depth. So yeah, no problems with that. So the next important thing is resolution. In recent years, Full HD is not very popular, I guess, and people don't really want to buy Full HD tablets or monitors in general. I personally disagree with that. And I do think that Full HD is enough for most of the cases, especially in this case with a 16-inch screen. You just don't really need more, in my opinion. I don't personally see any pixels. The quality of the picture is pretty good. It looks sharp enough to me, at least, even though you have to sit very close to the tablet because of the size and just because of how it works in general. I still think Full HD is more than enough for this tablet, at least. So I do think you won't have problems with that. So the most important thing here is obviously how it feels to draw on this tablet. And I think it's great, honestly. Especially when it comes to the line art, to sketching, to drawing lines, to making very precise lines. It is way more comfortable and way more simple than doing the same thing on the screenless tablet, on the simple graphic one. If your work is more line art reliant, or maybe you do animation, I think the display tablet would be a great choice for you, because even though I can do rather nice looking line art, even on the graphic tablet, it is just way more simple to do it on the display tablet. So to conclude everything, I would say that this tablet is a decent choice for a beginner or for someone who really needs that feeling of drawing directly on the screen, like you draw directly on the paper. It has really nice build quality. Huion always makes good products. Even my previous screenless tablet, it was made by Huion, and it still works perfectly after 4 years. It has nice colors, nice pen, line quality, everything is great. But personally, I would never buy such a small tablet ever again. It is just way too uncomfortable to work with, and I would either go for something bigger, like I did. I bought myself an XP pen, 22 inches, or I would spend my money on a nice monitor and a screenless tablet, which still would be cheaper while being much more comfortable, in my opinion. Also, I forgot to mention that whatever speed paint is going on in the background, it was made using this tablet. So that is pretty much it. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you prefer, what kind of tablet do you like. Do you use a screenless one, simple one, or you prefer a display tablet? Thanks for watching, see you.